Hello everyone, this is Cookies, and I think I've got turn 39, and we've got Mother Oak up. And I'm not sure who the caster is, so we'll have to take a look. We might even notice it as we go through all these battles. But we've got Fever Fins. Let's see. Ooh, a projection. Okay. Bag of Winds, so... Oh yeah, you still get the little air elemental. Lightning Spear. GSS. Serpent Crest, Knife of the Damned. Whew. So that's got Death Poison. Extra effect on damage curse. It's armor piercing. GSS and lightning spear. Alright, so we'll take a look at that in just a second. Doesn't look like anything's here for this really cool trap. I think he must have been trying to catch something in the magic phase, because the projection would allow you to take the fight in that phase. So maybe something stealthed away. I wonder if he was trying to kill the cat for TNG. Let's see the script. So Gift of Flight, Blessing, Quickness, Luck. Quickness, Mirror Image. Alright, so trying to kill a cat. Alright, I'm gonna double check. So this is in Fever Fens, which is the swamp. Huh. Yeah, because that's an expensive projection. I want to go check to see what he was trying to catch. Okay, so I've got turn 38 pulled up. Alright, so this is the cat here, which means these thugs had gathered here predicting this raid. Or maybe they had gathered in a couple of these spots, hoping to predict it, with the intention of using Project Self to trigger the fight in the magic phase to take the fight with the cat. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump back to the current turn. Okay, so I've got the current turn here. So I am curious. Okay, so the cat's gone. Now, the only way I know of to dodge like that, let's see, Fever Fens. Oh, I can't find TNG now. Having a moment. Okay. So the only way for him to dodge that should be if TNG anticipated a trap and had a scout tagging along with a stealth item. Now the item I'm most familiar with is a crown, which is the Mask of Face Borrowing. So if we go find Omniscience here, I can't forge anything because I don't have a lab. Did this ever get? No, it's still 30,000 gold. Let's see. Maybe I can pull this up. Okay, so just pulling up TNG here, because I can show both pieces. So he's got this cat. Now the cat has a crown slot and 2 miscellaneous slots. So what the TNG player, I think, did, or I'm pretty sure he did, I just don't know if there's other item options. Let's see. So there's this item which gives stealth, and this is a crown. So he could use this to stealth his cat. I don't know if there's an item in miscellaneous that does the same. It would have to be somewhat early. I know there's the Chainmail Hauberk from Dom 5, but the cat can't wear armor, so it couldn't be that. I think it's the Mask of Face Barring, because it's only Glamour 2 and 10 gems to forge. And with a hammer, it's 8. And he did have the Throne of the Artificer, so it would be 6. So that's what I'm thinking it was, which is incredibly prescient to anticipate an elfing like that. Especially since I don't think he was using the same sort of careful movement before this turn. So maybe there was something that just spooked him about going closer to Helheim's capital, or maybe he was concerned about a more traditional elfing, like a bunch of cloud trapeze. Which, I mean, Helheim could have done some cloud trapeze, but so I don't know if Helheim was hiding stuff there. It's a lot cheaper to hide stuff. So maybe a couple of things cloud trapezed in, and maybe the GSS thugs or something were just hanging out. I'm not sure. I don't quite remember well enough. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this. This is my favorite, at least. All right. So we'll get back into the turn now. Okay. So Tianchi, with a very clever dodge of Helheim's pretty clever trap. So that was really cool. Then we've got Sauromatia. All right, so finally getting into it. Very budget raid. Runs into the troll mercs though. This is exactly the kind of force Sauromatia should be using to try and take low PD groups though, because any party they put together that's a little bit bigger could run into a Melkart. Now, if they're anticipating movements for some of these unblessed, like, say, air groups, certainly hit it with a bigger squad, but I think trying to avoid getting your really significant raiding parties marked is probably for the best. And, it's a good test on his capital, because I believe last turn there was just a scout there. So it's worth sending a little bit of stuff to see if you can clear it out, and it did force Stonetroll to move something to defend the siege. And then we've got TNG attacking Helheim. All right. Helheim leaves a mount. A limp, crippled, and scared mount. All right. Gets to see TNG's formation. So he's got archers on the left flank. Demons of the Heavenly Fires on the right flank. They have a cool Flaming Fist, which does armor-piercing fire damage on hit rather than on damage, which is really cool. And then they've also got a Flaming Wheel, which is also armor-piercing and has 10 ammunition. So this isn't the new fatigue-based ammunition. They only have 10 wheels. And then we've got a double line of infantry with glaives, mixed armor sets, a large number of long dead filling out the back ranks, and a small corps of chariots, along with a number of mages. Let's see if there's anything on the mages. We've got some air gems, some maybe baby elementals. We've also brought dreamstones with us. So maybe he's feeling like there's no point in trying to save these. So I usually view this as a sign that a player thinks they're dead. So maybe not seeing a lot of hope out of TNG right now. And then we've got fire gems, earth gems. So fire 2 can probably get up to fire 3, maybe does big elementals. We've got earth gems. Maybe you can do a couple of big ones. Because you gem into earth power. And then you got 3 gems. I think it's probably more efficient as small ones, but we'll see. Then we got some nature gems. I mean, he could also be doing some buffs. Maybe some E3 buffs. Then we've got this guy with water and 1 pearl. And this guy with air and 1 pearl. So, and then there's 4 dreamstones to loot in the army, along with a thistle mace. Alright, so pretty compact little force. We'll have to see if Helheim opts to take that fight. Hinnom moves to relieve the siege on Zemiki. He's got some birds. Birds are not going to do it. Okay. So that's the kind of thing that you send to maybe kill a scout or 1 unit that he's left behind, but Sauromatia's got a small raiding contingent there. In Vissian Forest, we've got the very large Mekone forest. I feel like it's gotten bigger, but maybe I'm just imagining things. Ooh. And then we've got TNG. So this is TNG's other main army. He's got a certain amount of Evo bait. So we've got Clockwork Horrors out in front because they fatigue very quickly. They did get buffed recently, so they go up to max 150 now. And this was to fix an issue where they would just keep gaining fatigue even after they shut down until they died, which was pretty stupid, honestly. I like the 150. It shows them powering down, but not in a way, I think, where they would recover with some combination of maybe relief and some other stuff to maybe sneak back up to 99 occasionally and get another turn. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Lets them stick around, especially since they're 18 protection and pretty killy. We've also got a number of terracotta warriors, some cubes. The cubes are not within point buffing range, so must be planning to point buff of other stuff. Also has Demons of the Heavenly Rivers. I think if I were to do this scripting, I'd like to think that I'd take the mages and, like, yes, he's got the mage ball here, but Mekone is probably not going to be flying at you. So I think you could take some space to consolidate these demons a little bit in these cubes and maybe get better point buff coverage on them. He's also putting point buffs over his warriors of the 5 elements. The bless is magic weapons and natural protection +5. So it's definitely worth blessing them. I was starting to forget I did forget what the bless was, because for a few turns we were only seeing a unblessed raiding party of about 8 of these. He's got a bunch of spearmen, a bunch of archers. Okay. Now we've seen this Mekone army before. This guy has moved to the other side of the field. I think he was on the bottom before and they were still attacking. So we've got some small variations. And then we've got the same sort of communion. But yeah, I'll go ahead and let it play out. And then maybe we can dive in a little bit more. But I think that's most of it. Let's go ahead and see how many kills this thug has. 11? Okay, 8 in melee. So he picks up a number of kills. Oh, because he's got that. Okay. All right, and I'll go ahead and dive back into this one. So this was Mekone in Vician Forest. We'll go ahead and take a look at the gear really quick. So this is a Merc, if I'm not mistaken. The name's familiar. So he comes with some gems. We've got a couple of Archons. Well, not a lot of gear, but a lot of gems. This guy's got a Thistle Mace. And then we've got the Thug, who is also the Prophet. So he's got much reduced HP, I believe, versus even normal giants. Yeah. So, yeah, that was a pretty complete victory. Mekone got the full surround. The evocations from Tianchi were pretty solid, but just not quite enough. I mean, he's at a huge disadvantage here. He's been already fighting Helheim. His armies are split. And even the formation here he doesn't necessarily have probably the buff density on the troops that he wants it on. But I did notice everything appeared to be on bodyguard, which was pretty nice. Everything stayed together close to the mages so that they could at least try to get all the evocations going. So it was still a pretty good script. But yeah, just too many big giants to deal with. And then not to mention all the mechanical men filling in behind, who are also a pain to deal with their 18 protection and strong resistances. So Mekone, I think, definitely wants that Throne of the Artificer. If he can get his hands on that, he'll be able to summon a lot of that stuff. I think some people forget that you get discounts not only on the forging, but also on summons out of the construction path. So, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the Butcher's Bill. So the Merc dies, loses 2 Crystal Sorceresses, loses 41 Hoplites, and 25 Ecdromos. So really took a hit on the giants. 66 of them. That was maybe a little bit more than a third. Did lose his nifty summon, who I didn't see any fire breaths, if I remember. So I'm not sure if he's properly using that when he's trying to trample. Loses 36 of the mechanical men. They actually did a lot better than I thought they would, filtering in behind. I think a lot of their kills were on routing troops, but potentially I'd have to watch the battle again. And then for the Tianchi side, nearly a complete wipe. There were a few troops that broke out or flew out. It was kind of fun watching them, kill a giant here or there to make a hole to escape, and then the desperate dash. But yeah, I mean, let's see who did pretty well. The demons did pretty well, and the warriors did okay. But not a lot else. I was somewhat hoping for more mage kills. Masters of the Sword picked up 9, but other mages didn't get anything. And the gelatinous cubes only got 3, rather from their 6. But I think if they'd been buffed, they might have done a lot better. Let's go ahead and you're probably sick of this battle, but let's go ahead and watch it one more time. I want to see some of the buffs that got cast on the Mekone side again. So we've got Divine Blessing, the Communion is setting up. We've got a few self-buffs. Buffs. Let's see. We got some more self-buffs. Curse of Stones goes out. Legions of Steel. We could check to see if anything hit. All three globals. Oh, this one was by the Merc. So we've got Mist. This is to help reduce the number of projectiles, I think. Yeah, precision. And then we've got Howl from TNG and Twilight from TNG. I'm not seeing a heck of a lot else. I think this guy's about 5 through Divine Blessing, Temper Flesh, Stone Skin. A little bit of Elemental spam. Summon Earth Power. Okay, and then he goes in. Alright. I think all the TNG mages should still be alive, so we might be able to just go through them really quick. Power of the Spheres, Twilight. Some buffs and some water elementals. Oh, these are commanders. Weapons of Sharpness, I like that. Group regen, it's probably okay. I don't know that it's super great. I think if a Mekone giant hits you, there's a good chance you just die if you're a human. We got Mist Form. I do like that. Flame Ward. Yeah, that's probably good. They might bring out a lot of fire evos. We've got Quickness. Don't know about Group Bark Skin, but it might help them survive a hit. Like evocations are going to do them in, but in terms of giants, maybe that'll help them take 2 hits. More bark skin, more bark skin. Giant strength warriors, like that. Quickness, I like. Howl. More bark skin, body ethereal. I don't think that does much here. I forget if the Ekdromos have magic weapons. I'll take a look really quick. We got Moss Body, Gift of Cheated Fate, really like that, because that's a guaranteed way to get another hit. More Body Ethereal, Luck, I do like that. They get a solid chance to roll more potential deaths. Moss Body, Luck, Luck, and more Luck. Very good. So hopefully that gives a decent idea of the casting for this particular battle. And then they'll go into off-script stuff. All right, so that was really cool. That was, I think, one of our biggest battles to date. And then in Cloudbreakers, we've got Helheim and TNG. This is a Hang a Drought with Twiceborn. Should be fine. Vulnerability and Soul Vortex are strong. Gives a good idea of what Helheim is researching. All right. Then we've got Eric's. A good old Lanka thug. I think he's toast here, though. Dies to Blood Vengeance. In Bara, we got the Lunken Prophet getting caught. Didn't even bother to bring his +1 morale that you get for free. Alright. Then in King's Tomb Desert, I don't think it'll make a difference, by the way, but, you know, small things. Oh, I missed the birds. Somehow they routed a squad of barbarians. They routed... Okay, but they didn't route the second squad, I was about to say. Just Call of the Winds here. Or I guess Blackhawks that were patrolling. Okay. So, I mean, they do kill about half the barbs, but an inconvenient barb event, unless we've got an attack by Xibalba. Very budget crew. We've got some Shade Beasts and a few Sacred Bats. Going after some PD. Should do well. Alright. And the Weald. So we've got a few Ocelotls. Alright. Then in Golden Mountains, we've got the Unblessed Sayer. But they continue to just roll. So they're killing one PD. They've probably paid for themselves by now. Yeah, right here in Silverwall, we've got a bunch of Sinos. Alright, so they succeed. No casualties. And then we've got some of the Ur fights. So in Yellow Caves. Oh, good. Alright, so Ur is finally getting underground. And we get to see the Headhunters. These guys are pretty cool. They have a magic skull club. And then we got these Enkidu Hunters. Or is that just the leader that's got that? I think I just happened to click on the leader. Yeah, but it's still pretty cool. They should do just fine against Sinos. They are simply bigger and better berserkers. So Ur goes ahead and takes that, loses 9, but kills 21 Sinos. In Gworth, we've got an Ur army with a bunch of Masushu. They're going to filter in behind the main line of Sacreds, and then he's got a bunch of Spear Guard on a sparse line to just catch flankers, because he doesn't have a lot of leadership, so he's trying to be careful with it. Alright, goes ahead and clears this up. In Falgoth, we've got Hinnom attacking Lanka. Alright, we've got the big line of Roughites, or long dead Roughites, yeah. And then we've got a group of Roughites. If I remember right, about half of them get blessed, but these are all soulless that are disappearing, and they've HP routed the PD. So, not a real battle. Alright, so kills 88 soulless. Helheim moves into Glanis, where we've got a very large Helheim force. I think this is most of the army that was sieging the fort. So all this PD is toast. I think it was a fair amount of PD too. It looks like fort PD because it's all national. Then in Dulka, we've got a small party. Okay, so we got this fire guy. These guys should probably been in the main army. Probably could have taken some of the spearmen that didn't do anything and raided with them. I mean, it's a quality raiding group. I'm just not sure if he could spare it. I mean, it might not have mattered, but he might have also killed... yeah, you never know. Maybe you get like a lucky morale route by having those extra guys there. In Winden, so this is moving onto the throne, laying a claim, so to speak. Yeah, there's a lot of PD here, I bet. Very valuable throne. This guy is really going to be put to the test. So Invulnerability, Soul Vortex, Temper Flesh, Shroud of Bewilderment, Horrible Visage, did off-cast Script Blessing. So did pick up the big bless. So, I mean, this guy's pretty spooky. He's got 23 defense skill, 15 attack. The Light Lance isn't everything, but it does have his bless, so it's also got slow weapons, poison weapons. I'm just worried about this guy's ability to kill things. Now, he does have protection versus mundane of 30, but with only, well, Soul Vortex should heal him. So he might win this with Soul Vortex, and it'll also do some AoE damage for him. So he might actually win this. It's just PD. We see some of the failed checks versus Shroud of Bewilderment. Very cool for a no-gear thug. Very budget. Interesting that he's on cast and not advancing cast. Or maybe he is and he just hasn't advanced yet. He's at 32 HP. I think he's at more now than he started with. So, very cool. So, clears out... Wait a second. Clears out a bunch of PD. In Gray Barrier. We've got more Barbarians. Running into a lot of PD. Okay. There are a few rail troops here, but yeah, a lot of PD. In Jaburnia, Sauromatia going after Hinnom. This is his main raiding stack. Did not run into a Malcart, which is good. So gets to take a province here. The main thing we're going to check is to see if Hinnom locked down his last fort. Then in Yellow Mountains, right? No, in Bergamum, we've got the Mazic, one of the Mazic crews. I think there were two. There we go. They got the leadership. Mazic's really doing well here. They lose 1, kill 10 PD. In Yellow Mountains, we've got a Helheim squad. Okay. Nice. Where was that? That was down here. Okay. Looks like he may have lost 1, but that was from running into a small stack of sacreds. That can definitely be expected. In Owepari, we've got Xibalba running into Lanka. These Shade Beasts are doing work in the raiding game for him because they generate Solace off of PD. And he's been combining them with these Sun Guides. Very effective bless, like mixed cheap sacreds and summons for raiding. I don't know that they both need to be on attack rare though. Alright. Oh, whoops. I think this is the big clash with Lanka, judging by the casualties. Alright. So we've got a long line of Lankan Palankashas, backed with a smaller second line, and then 3 squads of Ghanas. He's got what's left of his mage core here. They're not going to be blessed, and they are starving, so their morale is trashed way more than normal. So undoing a lot of the experience bonus, that could mean that they route early versus all the Blood Vengeance checks. So I think it was even more important that he probably take this fight with his Prophet, but he's probably feeling pretty hopeless, especially going up against all this, and more of it would keep getting summoned. He could have gone on a death ride with his army, just trying to raid Xibalba's heartland, maybe pillaging provinces. Could have done all sorts of things, but he did opt to do the honorable, try to retake my cap run. We do see a couple of crystal mages here. Let's take a look at the mages in this. So we've got a bunch of fire gems, some earth gems. This guy's got Gloves of the Gladiator, and he's also lucky with a Sanguine Dowsing Rod. I'm sure Xibalba would love to get a couple of Sanguine Dowsing Rods. This guy's got a Headdress of the Buffalo on the Raktapada. He's also got a Raksharaja with an Elemental Armor who has Heroic Precision. And I think that's it. Xibalba's got a tremendous number of flyers. The Scorpions will catch up later, so I think we're gonna see what we can do here. Another thing too is going in a line might work better for Xibalba, potentially, but we'll see. And I mean in a way that helps Xibalba, because if these guys route, they'll have more space to route. They won't necessarily get surrounded by flyers if you're trying to cause attrition. And it also, if they're in a box, the flyers get less surface area to surround units on. So, bunch of imps. He's killed all the ocelotls again, just about. Alright, and the end of Lanka. Good game, Kidzin. I know I know it wasn't your favorite game, but Yeah. Uh, now you've had the full gamut. You know, you had the top four finish on man, and then you won on dwarves. So I think it's fitting that us as a lobby, give you something to worry about. All right. So that's the end of Lanka's main army. So Xibalba and Hinnom will now be fighting over what's left. In terms of the battle report, 223 casualties, loses all 55 out of 56 Shade Beasts. 10 of the Xibalban Scorpions, all 15 Aussies, only 9 of the Sacred Scorpions. They keep performing really well. Loses 20 of the Jaguars, 7 of the Fire Drakes, 15 Beast Bats, but yeah. And ends up killing just about everything. Probably cut retreat routes, it's what I'm expecting. And then, we've got this battle here. So we've got, this looks like illusory army or something akin to it. It could be the, one of the Mistform Highlands. It could be site related. So maybe we'll take a quick look at this. And then I need to remember to look at the global list. Alright, so the Phantasms are successful. Alright, let's go to the province. Yeah, so it's a mist-covered highlands, so this is event-related. In terms of the global, Mother Oak is by We do have Eyes of God by Tianchi. So, as his parting gift, he can share graphs, information, and fearmonger. Any player he so wishes, using that information. He does have one more army up on the Throne of Gaia. I don't think Helheim's gonna get to keep all of this. He's not showing the siege strength to be able to take it. He did siege Atlantis though. And I imagine Mekone, because this is not a fort, I think Mekone's probably going to want this. I'm pretty sure Mekone's going to want this province. I mean, we'll see, but... Alright. He's definitely going to want a fort after fighting this battle, because he did a lot of the work. And he still has enough that I think he can probably bully Helheim for some more. Let's see. Tianchi is still unsieged, so he can start trying to... He can take one more turn to try to put something together. Maybe do a little raid, try to take Cloud Breakers or something. He could try to pull this army back to his capital. And yeah, but yeah, I think Tianchi's pretty toast after this defeat. Although he certainly still has some stuff and can cause damage, especially with this army. So we'll have to see how that works out. The question is, Helheim's raided a lot, but what is Helheim going to get to keep? He's also kind of missing some depth here in terms of the raiding, so he might be happy with knowing what sites are around, collecting gem income. I think Helheim will want this one, this Wachi province, because the mage is really nice, the gem income is phenomenal. This Fire 3 mage, and then 4 fire gems, 5, and then mundane score graphs. He's not going to want to give that one up. So maybe he could come to a deal with Mekone, where maybe... I think Mekone's going to want both of these, especially if he's giving up the cap to Tianchi and maybe this throne. That's probably the most equitable split, but we'll see how things continue to go down. It depends on how much attrition Helheim takes against this army. And it also looks like Fomoria is considering taking some of this, although he'll want to retake this as well. There's a lot of Draconians running around. Alright. And then Ur's got this fort cracked. They should finish up Ulm finally on turn 40. And then we've got another group here. I think Ur's taken most of what they wanted. They got a little bit of TNG. I think these... Was it this one? I think this one was TNG originally. And then he got the rest of the Ulm spoils that TNG had vultured. So Ur's making sure to grab that. Ur's also finally getting into these caves, which I really like to see. There's a lot of air gems down here. And Xibalba doesn't seem ready quite yet to go get it. So there's definitely some opportunity there. Although I think Xibalba might try to get it next turn. Could easily dispatch some bat raiders down into that cave. We'll have to see if he does it though. He's also got to clean up these barbarians. He did take a fair amount of attrition here as well, especially in flyers. So the rest of his army is going to move a little bit slower aside from the Mage Corps. He's probably going to want to get the Mage Corps researching again too, so I imagine it goes back to Lanka. The raiding party, let's see, he's found Hinnom, so there's not going to be an accidental bump here, so Hinnom's setting a decent border here. I think this is reasonable. And Hinnom might get some more of this. It kind of depends where they meet. Assuming maybe here. And then Hinnom goes here. And then maybe they'll set a border here. But we'll have to see if some flyers try to run ahead and get the swamp. There is the Mother Oak here, which has a witch, 2 nature gems, and a nature range boost range. Or nature ritual boost range. This is a little sad for Hinnom. It's got an ink pot end, but Hinnom has recruitable healers, so he shouldn't lose anything to this. So in the long run, this fort should actually be an asset to Hinnom, because he has disease healers and other people won't. Hinnom has not locked down Iron Peaks. So, this Sauromatian force was meant to try and catch the Sayer force, and it dodged. But I do like being here as Sauromatia because you have the option of trying to free your cap, which forces probably a Melkart back to come back to here. And then you've got some other options as Sauromatia, like you could follow this party, you could try to maybe cut off income. So maybe this could go here and this could go here. And if you pulled that off, then you would cut off raiding income from all of this for Hinnom, which could be significant. I forget if shrimp soldiers are amphibious or not, but they probably should come out of the lake and try to help. I'm pretty sure they are, but maybe they aren't. I'll go and look really quick. Shrimp. Oh, they are aquatic. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. So he's just got... I guess he gets to collect income from here, but a lot of it goes away because he's paying these guys unless they're no upkeep for some reason. Hinnom, meanwhile, did collect income from all of his raiding this turn, which is pretty solid. So he's starting to do a little bit better. He just rolled out some new raiding groups, it looks like, including new Sayer. Seeing Xibalba here, I think he's going to assume that maybe the Lankan army is dead. So he might rotate this stuff north against Sauromatia. So my guess is next turn, maybe this army, depending on map move range, is either here or here. And then I think this force will start rotating south to help vulture this if needed. And let's see, on Berytos, ooh, a pentagram, okay. So he's trying to find a blood discount site in all of his wastelands. He did get to roll a few attempts. But other than that, he's got a still increasing number of shed, I imagine. For, let's see, we've talked about this war a bit. For Marverni, I would love to see Marverni. It depends. This war might be too far gone, but he could still impact this war. He could help Sauromatia turn it around. He's got a force here. Maybe he could free a Sauromatian fort. He could try to move on World's Teeth Mountain and take that. And he could definitely make this war interesting again for Hinnom. Depends on Stonetroll's ability to mend past wrongs with the Marverni player. And I think I've talked about everyone. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at graphs. For provinces, we've got Hinnom, Helheim, Mekone, and Berytos. For forests, we've got Berytos, Xibalba, Fomoria, Mekone, and Sauromatia. I guess a bunch of tied people. But Berytos, Xibalba, and Fomoria. For income, goodness. We've got and Berytos way out in front. With all this vulturing is taking a huge lead over even Berytos. Berytos has a huge lead over everyone else. For gem income, we've got shooting up more so now. So is starting to cement himself in a position 1 advantage right now. Xibalba is also coming ahead with Lankan territory. And then I think this is Mekone and Helheim tied for 3rd. For blood income, we've got Berytos and Xibalba, and a little bit of comeback for Hinnom. In terms of research, we've got Berytos out in front, and then Marverni a ways back, and then TNG, you see the impact of having to run out all their mages and fight. So they've stopped researching. And then we've got Helheim and Fomoria. Notably, the curve inflected here. This is because Berytos just got lanterns. Sorry. So Berytos, I expect Berytos's research to continue to inflect up at a more rapid rate as he continues adding lanterns to his mage core. And then, yeah. And then, let's see. And then for Dominion, we've got and Hinnom, followed by Helheim, Berytos, and Marverni. And for army size, we've got Berytos and pretty far out in front. Berytos is, it looks like, really only adding quality at this point, not adding any more elite soldiers or other garbage. And then is, I think, just has a lot of new money now and is recruiting more. And then way further down, we've got Sauromatia and Hinnom from their pretty epic struggle. Xibalba, Mekone, TNG all took big losses this turn. And then Lanka took big losses. So you can see who is fighting big battles this turn. And I think that's it for this one. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. We got 2 big fights, which I am a big fan of. Hopefully we'll get some more, although I would maybe like to see Marverni get involved in the action. It's probably about time that they did something. I think normally with a big held list like this, you try to get involved pretty early, but they've done a really good job with their research. So maybe they're just transitioning to a gem economy. So we see more boars here. Would maybe, I forget, I think you summon these boars in forests, so maybe a forest fort would be nice. He's done a pretty good job site searching. I could be wrong, though, about the forest thing. I haven't actually played Marverni. And yeah, otherwise, yeah, very fun game. Glad that it's heating up, even if some of the wars are coming to a close. We are starting to see the way some of the nations are scaling up. So I'm looking forward to those future clashes where we see the fruits of their scaling labor. And I think that's it for this one. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.